Hi class, today I am going to demonstrate the read aloud, think aloud. Okay, so we will solve a word problem and then we're gonna go over the three strategies that we have to follow, which are text to text, text to self, and text to world. Okay, so the problem says the following: a farmer, a daughter, and some apples. A young man asks a farmer for his daughter's hand in marriage. The farmer says, "If you wish to marry my daughter, you must complete this task. I want you to walk out to my orchard and pick some apples. On your way back to the farmhouse, you will pass three fence posts. At the first one, leave half of the apples you have and have an apple more. At the second fence post, do the same. Leave half the apples you have remaining and have an apple more. Do the same at the third fence post. You can cut, bite, fall, spindle, lay any of the apples. But when you're done, you must have one apple remaining for my daughter. If you can't do that, you may marry my daughter." How many apples does the young man need to pick from the orchard to accomplish his task? Okay, so first of all, this problem reminds me your geometry book, which is the text to text part. In your geometry book, we have word problems and theorems. When we were going over some word problems, they look very difficult to solve until we start drawing pictures, breaking down the problems by checking the keywords, finding the keywords of the problem, asking ourselves what is the problem asking us to do. For example, in this section, when we were learning about the Pythagorean theorem, it was really hard when we were just reading it, which says that the sums of the squares of the legs of a triangle equals the square of the hypotenuse. This talking about the right triangle. Just listening to the words or reading the theorem looks really difficult. So what we did for that problem, we broke it down, we drew a picture, and then it was easier for us to understand the problem. So we can do the same thing for this word problem that we have. The second element of strategy is text to self. Personally, this problem reminds me about my hometown, the time when I was living in my hometown, which name is El Chilar, small town in Mexico, down in the southern state of Oaxaca. In my hometown, there are many fruit trees. One of them are mangoes. So in this case, I can relate this problem to mangoes. So I can think in terms of mangoes. How many mangoes would I leave in each of the fence posts? This also reminds me of the time when I had to ask permission to marry my wife. And I remember that I was asked hard question. My father-in-law, he asked me what I had to offer for to his daughter, since I was pretending to marry her. He asked me, okay, what do you have to offer in terms of do you have money? Do you have a career? What plans do you have for the future? How are you guys going to be able to support yourselves? So I had to think critically about these things. So this is what this problem reminds me of. The third element of the strategy is the text to world. So what you have to do is you will have to make decisions in your life. Decisions such as everybody else. Decisions that I also. Decisions like what college are you gonna go? What kind of work you're gonna do, or are you gonna work after high school? Uh, who you're gonna marry. So what we have to use for this is logic. You have to think logically, and this is a very important piece in your preparation and your your classes that you're taking right now. So this problem makes me think about those elements, which are logic and critical thinking skills. So when you're making your decision to marry somebody, you might be asked key questions or very important questions, and you have to think. So what you have to do is break down what you're being asked, find the key questions, try to make some drawings, put everything in the balance, and this way it is gonna be easier to solve the problems.